We all know that Mr. Gandhi is a well established and successful businessman. So today I would like to start by asking you what brought you into activism?
Well, as far as activism is concerned, it came very automatically to me. It keeps continuing without a lapse, and over the years that as I realized that we are a part of nature, it is a nature that gives us all that we have now, and it is our responsibility as a citizen to preserve nature.
As you may have known, the BMC has drawn out about 3.4 crore for the revival of a pond in Kalina. According to you, how important is Mumbai's revival of such ponds?
Well, let me generalize this, that ponds, and for that matter water bodies, all water bodies, they exist in the form of ponds, lakes or rivers or creeks, wherever there is water, and they are very important, whether it is BMC or for that matter any other area, any other city. They are, what I think is that these water bodies are our temples and they are our worship. If you have no water bodies, if your water bodies are dried up, then of course why only humankind? No life form can exist without water. That's why it is very important that we preserve our water bodies. That is number one. Number two, we must understand this, how nature replenishes all this water supply. These tanks or lakes or ponds, no matter how you describe them, they are big containers. They are water containers. So when it rains down, they hold this water, and that water percolates to lower levels, and that is how the water table comes up. Now what happens is that during in the course of this urbanization, we don't have open spaces available now. All the areas have been paved. Our roads are paved, our housing societies are paved, and you will find our footpaths are paved. As a result, what happens is that rainwater, which should be allowed to percolate to lower levels, because in the lower levels we have the contributories, the distributaries, the aquifers, which potentiate these water bodies. They die out if you don't allow the water to percolate. Now as a result, you find that during the monsoon there are small showers and things, all our roads and mohallas, they get flooded because water has nowhere to go. That exit has been total. You will find that there is no exit available, and as a result it creates flooding, inundation, and brings a lot of hardship to the people.
Now we know that Mumbai is a very populated city, and it is said that it generates about 6.11% of India's total waste on a daily basis. So now this has led to dumping of toxic waste near water bodies, thereby polluting the water. Now if someone was to do something about this situation, how do we get the authorities to cooperate with us? Like suppose I am a local and I want to help or do something. So what has your experience been of the Meethi River with dealing with authorities and the legal system? So also give us a tip on how do we deal with these authorities?
First of all, we must understand this fact, whether it is the authorities, those who are sitting in power, or whether we, the citizens. The understanding of nature, how it works, how it operates, what are the dynamics, we have to understand this. As far as my personal experience goes, I think I really have had tough time, dealing with the authorities. And at times I do feel that they're very insensitive to the issue. These are very large issues concerning our life, our lifestyle, and the quality of our life. And that is exactly why. And then what has taken me to the court, I am standing in the court. I argue the case myself, you see, standing before the justice. I have filed PILs. The issue there is conservation. First of all, the understanding of nature, how it works. Number two, we have to preserve it. Number three, and then when we have to conserve it. We have to create conditions. Now, whether you create it through public movement or you try to somehow persuade the authorities, those who matter, and get the work done, or if everything fails, try to move the court, because we are empowered by the constitution. There are constitutional provisions, whereby every citizen has the right to clean air, fresh water, and whatnot. So, if it works with the authorities, fine. If it doesn't, then I think it is responsibility of the citizens to ensure that those rights which have been enshrined in the constitution are enforced. And for that matter, I am there in the court. Now, I have been working with the BMC. I have been working with the collectorate. I have been working with the concerned authorities like the MMRDA and other agencies, who are responsible for conservation of our water bodies, for conservation of our mangroves, for conservation of our rivers and beaches, our creeks and whatnot. And I find that they are not that receptive. They are not that, because that is purely because they have a script. And if they go according to the script, naturally, you see, that absolutely is not in sympathy, not in empathy with the total environmental setup. That has been my experience.
The Swachh Bharat campaign was launched last year. The need for us to keep our surroundings clean was stressed upon. Do you think it has brought any major change to the mindset of the people living in Mumbai?
I think yes. That is my personal experience. I've been a very avid traveler. I've been traveling all over India for that matter. I venture into rural areas, far-flung areas, and I find that what was lacking in us, you see, that kind of sanitation, the hygienic conditions, which we are very much lacking in. And in the rural areas, why only urban areas, in even rural areas, we don't have those facilities, the sanitation, or for that matter, you see, the public toilets, which are very much needed, are very absent, and that defecating in the open. This, of course, to a great extent, I think, is now being addressed, and is being addressed very effectively. I find that the railway platforms are much cleaner now. Our offices, government offices, are much cleaner now. People are much more responsive. But this is a kind of a message that takes time. It has to percolate. We have to educate the people. A lot of education has to go into it. And I'm sure that in course of time, because let us understand this, that if we fail to create this condition of health and hygiene, then as a nation, as a people, we are not welcome elsewhere. We are not welcome elsewhere. So this is the prime thing. No matter how beautiful our places are of tourism, you see, our forts and palaces are being done up very well, and the accessibility, the hospitality industry and everything is coming up beautifully well. But at the same time, what really matters is that the moment you land in our country, whoever lands in a country, and once they move out of the airport and what situation they come across, that has a very strong mental fact, on their mindset of about India and about the Indian people. So I think we need this. I mean, we have spent roughly 7 decades after the independence, and this has now started in good stead. It should be sustained by the people, and things should work out well. That is what I feel like now.
Do you think we have enough laws for the protection and conservation of water bodies or environment, and is there a lack of implementation of these laws?
Yes, I think so. We have real good set of laws. You see, I mean, we have enough of them, and they have been they are very defining ones, you know. And the only thing is, we are lacking in the will. If we have the will to do, it is absolutely law. Law is no restriction. You see, in fact, the law encourages us, and it empowers us, the citizens, and even the government. There are a good many number of laws, whether they are on the forest or whether they are on the environment. They are good enough, and not only that, you see, various courts, higher courts at Supreme Court level, High Court level, they have come out with such decisions, you know, with absolute clarity. What is needed is implementation, and in order that is implemented, we need to have a will. We have to be very recipient to the needs of the day, needs of the times, and we must be very respectful of the law as it is, because these laws which have been enacted by the legislature, I feel that we virtually override them, and whatever action we take has to have the authority of law. I mean, no individual, no matter how big an officer he is, official he is in the hierarchy of the bureaucracy, nothing should work according to his or her will. What really matters is the enforcement as has been permitted by the legislature, as has been permitted by the constitution. So if that is respected, I think we will have no problem at all on the environmental front. But the problem now is that I've been facing, because I'm visiting the courts and I've been arguing that the courts have surely come up with real good orders, but implementation, when it comes to the question of implementation, it is very poor, extremely poor. Right.
I would like to end with a final and a little personal question. Even as there is progress made with the work relating to the Meethi River, do you sometimes feel pessimistic when you hear of mangroves being cut or of green areas being taken up by builders?
Well, I'm not pessimistic, but at times I feel disappointed. I feel disappointed because the laws are very much there in place. All that we need is implementation. And why only Meethi River? Yes, I mean, specific to Mumbai, we have Meethi River. In fact, Mumbai is endowed with the world's oldest river systems. I mean, many of us do not know, many of our engineers do not know that Mumbai is endowed by Mother Nature with the world's oldest river system for an island, and which is still functional. So we have that catchment area. Mumbai has that very high density of mangroves and forest. You know, in central Mumbai, as we look at as a metropolitan Mumbai, we have the central highlands where we have this park, Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and most of the rivers emanate from there. I mean, that is the catchment area. So the people elsewhere in the world outside, they wonder that this city, I mean, there are hardly any city anywhere else in the world, such a big city, such a busy city, and yet you find that such a beautiful sanctuary is there. We have many wildlife there. We have some 250 species of birds there, and the marine life, I mean, it's very much enriched, you know, by marine life. With all that and that high concentration of mangroves, and yet ours is a very dirty, filthy city. That is the fact of life. So I feel disappointed that despite of, I mean, there are very other activists, there are very well-meaning citizens, who are working, you see, on this environmental front, on the river front. And they too, along with me, feel disappointed that despite all this, despite the court order, despite the effort that they are putting in right earnest, not much is being done in that direction.
So we do know that India is blessed with a very natural and very pure water system, but it is naturally dirtied by us, and we are so proud to have people like you at even with so much of zest and zeal. You take things up to the court and do something about it. We need to learn from you. We do have laws, but we need implementation. This is what Mr. Jagdish Gandhi has to say. Thank you for your time, and we hope that we'll meet you again and soon. Thank you so much.